Thank you, Commissioner, for being here today and for your service. I really like how you started out and appreciate those four vibrant pillars you talked about for economic development. I was wondering if you thought we could consider you, as the leader of our economic development programs, and the governor and the legislature, adding a fifth vibrant pillar. And that would be a pillar that incentivized New Yorkers to stay, live, work, build a business, create jobs, get their kids' educations in New York, and attract and incentive others to come to New York. Basically, what I'm talking about is an issue that's probably better called the elephant in the room, or in every room in New York State. It's the exodus of people leaving the New York State and how it might relate to economic development and the work you do, the work we do, and the work the government and governor does. I know you probably know the statistics. 1.4 million people left the state of New York last decade. 189,000 walked out last year alone. Number one in out-migration for the Empire State. Mr. Commissioner, if we continue in this trend, we won't be the Empire State. We'll be the Empire, empty state. We have to change course direction, I think, in some ways, as it relates to a lot of issues. But economic development, I think, is one of those. The statistics which are really disconcerting and dangerous to us, I think, is the fact that the people who are leaving, and the statistics show this, are those who are $150,000 in income or more. These are the people that can afford to leave New York State now. The people who are staying, I think it's 8.2%, are those in the lower income brackets. The real concern I think you should have, and we should have, and the governor should have, is how can we balance a $170 billion budget if we're no longer, I love New York State, but I leave New York State. We have to retain people who live here and attract others to come here, especially those who want to build and grow a family, create jobs, create a small business, and those economic leaders in the state. Infrastructure, education, our libraries, our senior citizens, our most vulnerable populations, healthcare. Those are all programs built into a $170+ billion budget. We're not going to be able to afford budgets. There won't be a $6.1 billion deficit if we continue this trend. We'll go bankrupt in New York State. So I think my question to you is, how do you square what's happening with economic development in New York State with the trend of people being number one, 189,000, walking out of New York State, of all 50 states in the nation? We're losing population. And it relates primarily to where I live in upstate New York. I think the city's doing pretty well attracting individuals. Long Island's probably stabilized. But the fact of the matter, when someone says it could be the weather, might be somewhat, but the statistics show 16% are walking out and going to New Jersey. Now, Commissioner, that's not exactly the sunny or balmy place in the Northeast of the United States. So I can't be blamed on the weather unconditionally. There's got to be a lot of other issues. So what I would ask you is, what do you think you, I, we, the governor can change in New York State as it relates to economic development that can induce people to say, I want to continue to live in New York State. I don't want to walk out and go to New Jersey or Florida or South Carolina or North Carolina. Incentivize them to stay here, live here, and attract others. How do you square the good things in economic development we're discussing and you pointed to with people, number one, in leaving the state?
So, sir, we obviously look at the data. That data is extremely important. Population trends, statewide, cities, regions are extremely important to us. So the data that we have since the last census count, we've actually seen a slight increase in terms of population for New York State. Now, over the last number of years, we have seen an out-migration. There's a number of different factors that is the result of. I mean, certainly we've seen some out-migration to some of the southern states. There's also been, a change of policy at the federal level. No doubt, the change in the SALT deductions, state and local tax deductions, have had an effect.
Well, this is 10 years, Commissioner. 1.4 million. It can't be SALT over a 10-year period.
Well, sir, we've certainly seen an effect of SALT. We've also seen, this is a state that is proud of our immigrant heritage, a high percentage of the residents in New York are immigrants. We've had a high percentage. There's been, you know, really a war on immigrants. That's also affected things. There's more data I can give you. I know we're out of time, so, but thank you, sir.
Thank you.